Welcome back to the Daily Dean. So capitalism really skews our ideas of productive and being successful, especially when you have an interconnected media that talks about child prodigies, and there's a lot of emphasis on being a productive member of society by getting a college education and whatnot. But that is a very toxic mindset to have, not just because capitalism should not be the final stage of a society's evolution, but because capitalism tells us that if you're not working 24/7, or you're not being a totally successful human being, or you're not being the next Bill Gates, then what you're doing is a waste of time. I kind of feel that sentiment when I'm around random people, when I'm around friends, even teachers and whatnot. And I feel like there's pressure on all of us to be performing to our maximum potential. And while that's a very selfless sentiment, right? Hey, you gotta be your best self. It comes off wrong because there's pressure to be things that you may not be. Child prodigies, for example, are put on a lot of pressure to be the fastest athlete, the strongest athlete, the most competitive swimmer, or the most competitive guitar player, pianist, whatever. And while those relationships or those dynamics may work for some parents and some children, and they may really end up liking that hobby, most of the time I find, well, anecdotally, so maybe take this with a grain of salt, I find in my own personal experience that does not work out for the best in many people. There's just a lot of instances where parents pressure because they want their kid to be the next Bill Gates or major pianist. It becomes something tainted by this it's perverted by the idea of success, that being successful is being totally famous, or getting into a college, having neat things to write on your transcripts or writing on your applications. Yeah, I've been playing, guitar since I was 3 years old, and I can play it, no hands with my feet. That's cool if you like it. It's not really cool if, you've been forced into that, and the only reason you continue doing that is because it'll be cool on your applications, or that because your parents tell you, or because things in your environment tell you to do things that you don't want to do. And just like I said, vice versa, not doing things because you're afraid you're going to be not as good as other people who've been doing it for a long time. And there's this proverb I heard: the best time to plant a tree was yesterday. Or not yesterday. The best time to plant a tree was 100 years ago. The second best time is right now. Because while you may not be a total child prodigy, you can still do things that mean happy things to you. And that relates to, if I do this, I'm not even going to be as good and it won't look as cool on applications or whatever. But you don't have to worry about that or being successful in the eyes of society. I hope you don't have to worry about that, because I wish there were different branches of success and how we define it. Because college isn't necessarily for everybody, not just in terms of well, maybe you don't need a degree, but literally, maybe there should be different pathways to becoming a teacher or an engineer, or, maybe not an engineer, but other jobs like business that don't require necessarily the same kind of degree from a university that requires, things related to English, when you only needed a degree in nuclear physics or something related to that. I don't know. So at a certain point, there are certain boundaries that we need to draw between success and productivity that I hope you aren't burdened by. And if you are burdened by them, I hope you find a way to cope with them. Because I know you're successful when you're happy, and you're successful when you're trying your best to be happy. And I hope that you reach that, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.